This is exactly why the WNBA and USA Basketball and everybody else that's got access to Caitlin Clark should be trying to push her to the top of everything. Because do you know why we wanted to look at this last night? Because of Caitlin Clark.
How one of the rising stars is thrilling. It's shocking that talent pushed the WNBA to reevaluate the entire season format. But why is the league making such drastic adjustments to the 2017 season? Fever games will not be included in half-season ticket packages by WNBA teams because they would lose too much money. The stats don't lie. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA spokesperson.
So we know the Caitlin Clark effect is real, obviously. It is incredibly obvious that it's real. But this might just sum it up more than anything else.
The WNBA just announced a historic ruling that is drawing attention and generating questions. The league's new ticket pricing packaging plan for the 2018 season will not include the Indiana Fever.
You want to add a team to Miami? I don't think people understand the market. You don't add franchises when you're losing money, let alone if one of those places is Miami. So, we had a team for 3 years. They shut down because they played with black curtains around the arena. They were playing in front of 500 people.
That goes back to the point of the pressure being on Caitlin because they're adding because they think that she's going to...
Why would you even consider Miami among the teams? People don't go...
This change, however, is not as confusing as it might seem at first. Rather, it is all related to the Caitlin Clark effect, a phenomena that is already changing the league's tactics and highlighting this rising star's enormous importance.
Purchase a half-season ticket to receive access to add-on to Fever games. The Go has her own package. She literally has her own package. They could even sell out Gamebridge for day one of Fever camp. They 100% could. I'm sorry, they could sell out Gamebridge for day one of Fever's training camp. There's a 0% chance they could.
The WNBA is taking a risk by removing the Fever from this specific ticketing plan in an attempt to take advantage of the extraordinary buzz surrounding Clark and increase revenue and fan interaction like never before.
Saying the schedule and just being back to what I've called a normal life in the WNBA has been massive. But to quickly run through a couple of other things, and we're going to talk about Aaliyah Boston and Clark here momentarily, so I won't go too deep into that one. Their pairing has been fantastic.
There is no denying Caitlin Clark's influence on basketball. Basketball fans are enamored with a young phenomenon who is renowned for her amazing scoring skills, long shooting range, and thrilling performances. Her appearance on the court garners a lot of interest nationwide, and her matches are increasingly becoming must-see occasions.
Effect strikes again, this time catapulting the WNBA to levels they didn't think were possible if we only look back 2 years from now. Caitlin Clark has put the WNBA #1 on Morning Consult's fastest growing brands of 2020.
The WNBA is eager to capitalize on her impact in order to increase its visibility and income after realizing this surge in popularity. With Clark's team, the Iowa Hawkeyes, already building a sizable fan base, the league is attempting to focus its marketing resources on games that offer the highest returns by removing the Indiana Fever from the ticket price packaging strategy, which usually bundles games together to encourage broader attendance. They are betting that her move to the professional league will continue that momentum, drawing even larger audiences and generating significant revenue.
When Clark comes to town, we're going to be adding 10 times the price probably. You're probably looking at $300 tickets when Caitlin Clark comes to town.
The league can create a premium experience that capitalizes on the excitement Clark brings by carefully pricing tickets and packaging games featuring her. This strategy is not just about maximizing short-term profits. It's a long-term investment in the league's future with the goal of raising its profile and gaining a larger fan base. The WNBA is aware that players like Caitlin Clark are uncommon and that their capacity to attract large audiences and media attention can change the course of the league. As a result, scheduling games that feature Clark's squad enables the league to highlight its most marketable asset, boosting television viewership, merchandise sales, and interest in women's basketball in general.
So the Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson goes on CNN and says that the entire WNBA should have been put on the cover of Time magazine. It is hard to get away from this conversation because it just keeps making national news. And to be frank, I've never seen a story in the WNBA get as much widespread coverage as this is getting. I honestly can't wait until the season's back in so we can get more about basketball.
On the other hand, the Indiana Fever's omission from this specific plan reflects current market conditions rather than being a disservice to the team. There is no doubting Caitlin Clark's influence, and the NBA's decision shows how much the league depends on her to boost its standing and financial status, even though the team is still rebuilding and honing their talent and may not have the star power or fan appeal to match the spectacle that Clark's games are expected to provide. The WNBA is at a watershed in its history, signaling a shift toward more aggressive marketing tactics and a greater emphasis on star power to advance the league. As supporters eagerly await the start of the season, the WNBA's bold moves demonstrate the growing recognition of women's sports as a lucrative and exciting arena. The league is expected to new heights by showcasing how strategic innovation and star power can transform the professional women's basketball scene through Clark's dynamic appeal. There have been speculations that the WNBA plans to make a significant change for the 2017 season. There have been suggestions that the league was initially worried that these adjustments might lead to losses.
You mentioned the Caitlin Clark effect. What does that mean to you?
What an incredible human being she is. Not only does she represent Iowa, but she represents women's basketball. She represents women's sports.
But in spite of these worries, the WNBA has implemented a creative ticket packaging strategy to draw more fans to games, especially those involving dominant teams like the Chicago Sky and the Las Vegas Aces. Under the new plan, fans can now buy a package that entitles them to 5 different games, including matches against some of the league's most popular teams, like the Chicago Sky and the Las Vegas Aces. The WNBA is providing both ardent fans with a more inexpensive option and casual viewers with an opportunity to become more connected with the sport by combining 3 games into one. This approach appears to be a direct reaction to the WNBA's increasing popularity, which has been fueled in part by players like Caitlin Clark's incredible performances that have renewed interest in the league. The league's leadership seems to be counting on the increased visibility and the allure of attending multiple games at a single discounted price to outweigh any potential. The cheaper bundles related financial risks the ability to fill more seats for a variety of games, including ones that might not normally draw big crowds, is one of the strategy's major benefits.
Call AJ Wilson the face of the league. I'm sorry, you don't need to purchase a 10-game package for the option to watch AJ Wilson play basketball. You don't.
Additionally, by increasing the number of attendees, this move may encourage secondary spending on concessions, merchandise, and other arena activities, further offsetting any initial revenue reductions from ticket discounts. The league may see a significant increase in these ancillary revenue streams. Despite the early financial risk rumors, the WNBA's choice to move forward with this ticket packaging strategy shows a proactive attitude to expanding the sport is a calculated risk that shows the league is optimistic about its future and the rising stature of its players. Games with teams like the Chicago Sky and the Las Vegas Aces are included to guarantee that the package gives its high entertainment value, makes it a tempting offer for both new and returning fans.
Becoming an iconic figure like a Michael Jordan, like a Tiger Woods, like a Serena Williams. Nike just invested in her $28 million, which I think should be way more.
To be able to carry the pressure of always being on, always being ready, always having to say the right thing and making sure that like you're as delicate as possible, trying to come across as like not only a great person, but the great athlete that she is. She also carries herself on the basketball.
The WNBA's recent decision to make drastic changes to its upcoming season, driven by the electrifying influence of Caitlin Clark, has sent shockwaves through the league. What's even more telling is the exclusion of Indiana Fever from these adjustments, which speaks volumes about the extraordinary demand to see Clark in action once again. The league is positioning itself for sustained growth and greater visibility in the sports world by taking advantage of the popularity of teams like the Aces and the Sky and giving fans the opportunity to see multiple games at a discounted rate.
NBA owners, investors, a lot of whom own WNBA franchises, for example, the Indiana Pacers, or the owner owns the Indiana Fever, okay? And that is running throughout the league. Well, even with the Caitlin Clark uptick in business, and it was significant, it did not matter. The WNBA is set to lose $40 million this season for this prior season.
This choice demonstrates how Clark's influence on the game has not only elevated her team, but also eclipsed other well-known athletes like A'ja Wilson and Reese. Fans are clearly more excited to watch Clark play than any other player or team, according to the statement. Caitlin Clark's sudden ascent to fame has been nothing short of extraordinary. Audiences around the country have been enthralled by her court performances, which are marked by unrivaled skill, exciting plays, and a captivating appearance. The typical ATT attention paid to other elite players and teams has been overshadowed by the excitement to see her return to action. Clark's appeal is unique, as evidenced by the exclusion of the Indiana Fever, a team with a distinct fan base and history from these recent modifications.
The growth is happening so fast. It's so accelerated. And I've been saying this in our own organization that business as usual isn't going to work anymore. You're going to get left behind. Certainly, Caitlin's first game, they were going to value. I'm all for that. I get it.
Although Angel Reese, who is well known for her skill on the court, has had a big influence, her presence doesn't fully arouse fans' passion in the same way. Although A'ja Wilson, a strong player and important personality in the WNBA, is respected and admired, she doesn't arouse the same intense passion. However, Caitlin Clark raises herself with an additional intangible quality. This issue is further highlighted by the Indiana Fever's absence from the WNBA's future goals, which go beyond simple athletic performance and into the domain of cultural phenomena. It's a calculated move that subtly recognizes Clark's superior marketability and the unrivaled excitement she inspires. The absence of the Fever is more due to the overwhelming desire to focus the season on players who can fill AR and increase viewership than it is about their shortcomings. Clark at the forefront. The NBA's choice to not include the Indiana Fever in their upcoming season's framework is a clear indication of Caitlin Clark's incredible impact. She is the main player in the league's plan to increase ticket sales and fan base because her ability to captivate audiences much outperforms that of her contemporaries. In addition to changing the game, Clark's star power is establishing a new benchmark for what it means to be a game changer in professional basketball.
Caitlin Clark is a hell of a lot better than Angel Reese. Nobody ever said Ben Wallace could give Michael Jordan a run for his...
Additionally, A'ja Wilson, one of the league's most well-known players, recently raised her speaking engagement cost by $10,000 more than Kate, which has spurred an intriguing discussion about who really controls the women's basketball championship. Despite Clark Wilson's audacious declaration that she is the true MVP and the player that fans most want to watch and hear from, a significant shift in the WNBA's new season format paints a different picture. Solidly positioning Caitlin Clark as the focal point of the league's burgeoning star power, A'ja Wilson is without a doubt the best player on the floor. The WNBA's decision to make major changes in its upcoming season, which were obviously influenced by Clark's explosive popularity and distinctive style of play, suggests that the league sees its future more in line with Clark's growing influence than with Wilson's established presence. Her decision to charge much more for her 30-minute talks than Clark appeared to be a calculated move to highlight her status.
Involving Caitlin Clark again. Well, now this week, she's talking about, she's charging $100K for speaking events, and fans is like, Shrek? Since when? And you only doing this because of Caitlin. Now, we know news broke last week about the unrivaled, about A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark both not taking part in this league. Caitlin gave her own reasons, being that she wanted to focus more on golf. She had a long season this past year, and she's just going to sit this off season now. A'ja Wilson really didn't say too much about her not wanting to do it, besides she just wanted to not play basketball this off.
Essentially, while A'ja Wilson has made enormous contributions to the WNBA, and her legacy ensures that the league's most recent changes reflect a new reality. The player propelling women's basketball's next surge in popularity is Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA's strategic changes show that Clark's star power is not merely a passing fad, but rather a key component of the league's expansion plan. This information not only casts doubt on Wilson's narrative, but also demonstrates Clark's ascent to popularity as the league's most desirable and marketable athlete. Fans are looking forward to Caitlin Clark's return to the court this season, and the excitement is heightened not only by her extraordinary talent, but also by the fact that she will be rested and coached by game expert Stephanie White. Her performance last season left fans in awe as she consistently delivered game-changing plays and jaw-dropping moments, but after a demanding schedule and the inevitable wear and tear of a demanding season, the need for rest was evident. The addition of Stephanie White as the head coach of the Indiana, having played in the WNBA and served as a head coach in both the league and collegiate levels, Fever White brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the team. Her comprehension of the subtleties of the game and her capacity to establish a personal connection with players make her the ideal mentor for a budding star like Clark.
I am on record as saying Caitlin Clark is going to be an excellent WNBA player.
I agree.
Right away. Right away going to be a star, in my view. When you go back and you look historically, the players at the level that I believe Caitlin Clark is at, whether they are guards or bigs, they have come in and been all-stars.
Clark will have more chances to demonstrate her abilities in a system that plays to her strengths, as the Indiana Fever are anticipated to adopt a more dynamic and strategic style of play under his direction, maximizing the roster's talents. White's coaching philosophy places a strong emphasis on cooperation, intelligence, decision-making, and flexibility, qualities that are exactly in line with Clark's style of play. Fans are thrilled about the team's general improvement, as well as looking forward to individual highlights from Clark. The Indiana Fever might very well become one of the league's most fearsome teams under this new dynamic combo. In addition to the technical parts of the game, fans are moved by Clark's return on an emotional level. The story of her return, rested and prepared to take on new challenges, provides a dramatic element that heightens the interest in this season. What, in your opinion, led the WNBA to change the format of the entire season? If you liked it, please leave a comment below, like it, and subscribe. There are now more movies available.